Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, AttunePod, where we offer you, those in their 20s, a reality check that you can either choose to cash or do whatever you want with. So today we have a pretty on trend, on topic, timely topic to discuss today, which would be the September surge. Probably been all over the FYP if you're looking for a new job or a new entry-level job, but we're going to be discussing September surge right now, what to do, how to tackle it, and how to take advantage of it as much as possible.
I feel like there's always a trend on social media where they tend to sort of like nickname things, where it's like if you're privy to it, you're privy. If you don't know, you don't know. So I feel like just for the benefit of everybody, what actually is the September surge?
So September surge is quarter four, and it's where executives are coming back. It's where the company is now realizing, oh, we've got too much money. They're now realizing we need people. And so they put it down. They put that money on resource. There's a massive push to get or to hire more people. And that tends to happen in September, hence the name September surge. So I think in understanding what it is now how can those that are listening, individuals like us, how would we now take advantage of September surge?
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question, because sometimes you see these job postings online, you think, okay, how do I go from here to there? And I think it's also important to remember is like, even if we are quite junior in our career, there are still ways to actually ascertain these opportunities. I think one of the big ways that you can actually get your foot through the door is understanding the types of jobs that are coming on the market in September. A lot of the time you're seeing early career opportunities, internship opportunities, graduate schemes, and graduate jobs. Because they're also conscious that September is when everybody's sort of back to university and the like. So they also want to target you when you're most available to apply. Mention some of the routes to entry, but how can one actually get on these schemes? Like, what can one actually do to make sure that their CVs or their just general skill sets are best aligned to these programs?
I think in how to get onto them or what to do to get onto them or best prepare yourself, I think you need to start with where to find them in the first place. So LinkedIn, so try and forget about Reed and Indeed if you can, in my opinion. They're not the best job boards out there. There's a lot of scams out there as well. However, LinkedIn tends to be pretty legit. There's Bright Network as well. You can go directly on a company that you're interested in. For me personally, what I did is I literally Googled top 100 companies. And I went through one by one as to what appealed to me, what didn't appeal to me, what I had available, etc. That was how I did it. There's also job-specific boards as well. So just definitely have a Google around. There's tech ones. There's ones for those with disabilities. There's ones for those with cognitive differences as well. So definitely have a look, have a play around. But try and find where to find those opportunities, I think, will be the first start. And then after that would definitely be a thing of how you go about prepping for that application as well. You can obviously network if you have people around you that work in that industry or know someone that works in that industry, and you can go through that route to try and find out more about the role. But also you go on LinkedIn directly, of course, as well. And people, it's probably worth saying as well that companies do tend to be quick to hire via referral as well. But talk a little bit more about resume building. How would you go about it?
Oh yeah, I think it's literally the fundamentals. I feel like you can have all the networking in the world, you can have everything ticked off, but if you don't have at least a fundamentally good resume, then CV.
We're not American. CV.
Unless you've got a fundamentally, at least just good CV to go off, then it's really hard to actually get your foot through the door. And I think for starters, particularly if you're slightly junior in your career, I don't think your CV should be longer than like maybe 2 pages. For the most part, we may not have, my personal opinion is focus on quantifying any evidence that you have. So instead of just saying, I ran a shop, or I ran a shop for a week, maybe I hit sales targets of £10,000 within this week, serving 100 customers. Literally put numbers to it so they can see just the actual magnitude associated with your output. I think another thing that's also worth noting as well is that you don't have to, if say you're at degree level, you don't have to list every single educational achievement you've had ever in your life. You could just summarize, I mean, your degree is probably important to have on there at this stage, but maybe your A-levels if you've got that, or B-Techs, whatever the route you did on right sentence. Yeah, then maybe just a summary of like 10 GCSEs, A to C.
Yeah,
You don't need
literally
anything on there.
You don't need everything on it. And I think also if there's one that you're not proud of, that's not going to do any justice, you don't need to put it on there directly as well. Because you're not lying, you do have the 12 GCSEs A to B. You might forget about that C or not want to put that 13th GCSE on there.
Yeah.
But, do play to your advantage, if that makes sense. But beef yourself up. And talking about your CV as well, when it comes to uni level or just after school level, think about what you have done in jobs, hospitality, if you didn't get an internship or spring break, like that scheme, whatever, or the formal work experience. Think about the transferable skills that you have done up to this point, because I'm pretty sure there's something that you have done, and then go from there. I think you don't need to be too focused on the details. You don't need to be, but you need to be able to quantify and paint and tell a story. But it's worth mentioning that I believe Babe said it in a previous episode, your CV is only going to get you through the first door. Beyond that is how you talk about yourself, how you carry yourself, how you talk to other people, those softer skills, the interpersonal stuff there that will actually matter most or be judged later.
I think also some people, I know you hear the word CV and you'll assume it has to be strictly professional, but I think it's also worth just noting maybe some of the extracurricular stuff that you get.
Oh, 100%.
I think it paints the picture. I don't know what it is with corporations, but they allow people that are interested in like sport and things like that. And it just shows, number one, you're committed to like something, a cause. Number two, you're a team player. It just shows some good, we can work with a team. We can work with a team to achieve an outcome. It's just good soft skills without saying I'm a good team player. If you said on your CV that you're competitively playing football, second division, I don't even call it two. And it shows that, you can commit to something and deliver within a team without explicitly saying that. So I think it's also worth including. Some companies might also want you to write up a cover letter. Goodness me, my spine shivers on a really good one. So for me, cover letters is just for like, why am I twerking for you?
Why are we twerking? Why is my back then?
I heard several HR professionals have said no one even reads it.
No one reads it.
It's just a formality thing.
And I feel like it sieves out the people that actually want to do that job. I'm not going to lie to you. So back when I was in applying for the jobs, listen, if I saw CV required, not CV, cover letter required, I said, yep, next. Next. Because I was, at that point, to put my hands up, I was tired of writing, because I did law applications earlier that year. And I was tired, if any of you are familiar with it, I was tired of writing essays to get why, as you said, why am I twerking for you? And I'm not even there yet.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to prove to you yet. Why am I doing so much? For me, it's a personal reference, and just keep in mind there are tools out there like ChatGPT, that you can use to your advantage as well. Obviously, be smart with it, okay? Be smart with how you use it. Keywords, not plagiarize it, exactly. But there are tools out there. There's also other companies, not companies, or organizations out there that offer help with your resume and application building, etc., getting you comfortable for assessment centers and interviews, etc. So it'd be worth exploring them. So, Amma, do you know of any?
Yeah, a few come to mind, particularly for people who may be disadvantaged, be that you come from a low socioeconomic background, be that you're less abled, be that, you might belong to just a marginalized community. Just a few off the top of my head, you have Upreach, there is Recruitment, there is the Social Mobility Foundation. You can also apply to the 10,000 Black Interns Initiative, 10,000 able interns as well. There's also Bright Network, and just SEO London's another one. So many across the board that you could apply to. And their whole focus a lot of the time is helping either students, when I say students, maybe age 16 above, right through to the end of university graduates, get their foot through the door by means of making sure that your CV's up to scratch, cover letters up to scratch, your interview skills are there, just everything that you need. They just equip you as best they can. They're not going to give you the job, but they will give you all the tools to get you there, which to be fair, given that a lot of them do it for free, I think it's a massive, if you can get on one of those schemes, I would absolutely.
And sorry, why would you want to hand out anyway in this stage of your life?
Yeah.
You want to hand up, right? And that's exactly what these organizations are actually providing for you. because it's long lasting. It's not just a one thing, one hit wonder. It's actually something that is going to carry you through your later stages in life. I think it's also worth mentioning when it comes to interview preparation, there is a website called keywonders.com. A bit of a shameless plug, I won't lie to you. So keywonders.com. So what I've done is I put together a bunch, like I've got 90 plus questions for strength-based interviews, which is what entry-level job applications tend to be, or entry job grad schemes tend to be. So 90 plus questions taken from my own experience, from my experience being on a grad scheme as well, and what they look for, and put those together is a resource that you can use to help cultivate and shape that confidence that you do need to go into interviews and assessment centers and just know what you're talking about. So do check that out. It's at keywonders.com. I'll put the link in the bio.
But actually on that, no, I know she said shameless plug, but genuinely it is imperative. So I feel like practice those questions, and the bank of, where are you going to find 90 questions just given to you for practice? Because also what you do find is a lot of these companies use the same format. It might not be word for word the same question, but like if they say, they might ask you, how do you work in a team? 10 different ways. So if you've got 90 questions at your disposal,
more than 90 by the way,
I would literally run and purchase, because like I said, practice makes perfect. And once the thing is with interviewing, it's a skill. So it gets to a skill. Genuinely, I have an auntie who said she's reached a point where she don't even prep. All she needs to know is the company, what they do, and she just rocks up and she gets every single offer without fail.
But see, it's a skill. It's 100% a skill. When I was younger, when I was younger, Lord, but when I did my first interview, my first assessment center, it was for Lloyd's. I'm pretty sure a company you're all familiar with. And Lord, I was crying. Well, not, I was like hyperventilating because I was so stressed. I was nervous. I was stumbling over my words. And again, had to call my dad. If you guys are familiar with the show, had to call my dad and just ask him for a little bit of a reassurance there. But that was my first interview, my first assessment center. And it's fine. It's all right to start somewhere. No one's going to check you for that. So 100% do use that resource. There is a free version as well. And if you do want to just get a taste to see what we've got available, go by all means. But it's less than a meal deal, guys. Come on. But yeah, so there's that. And I think also during this period of time, probably think about what you're doing outside of formal work experience or hospitality job, quote unquote jobs. But think about what you're doing skill-wise as well, upskilling yourself. So you have online courses that you can be doing, certifications, workshops. Those are all noteworthy in a CV. 100%. All noteworthy on a CV, on a LinkedIn profile, which is honestly a digital CV in a sense. All of these are noteworthy and actually ones that you can put on there. For example, I did during COVID, I did She Codes. I popped that on there. I also popped Google Digital Garage.
Oh, wow.
I popped that on there as well. I popped Skillshare on there. Reason being, because these are all things that I was doing to upskill myself, and they weren't formal experiences, yes, but there were ways in which I was enriching myself and adding value to my CV, yes, but to also a potential way I could add value to the company.
Yeah.
So add those. It doesn't have to be formal work experience. It can be skills, like literally Skillshare, online courses, anything that you're doing on the side that is generally enriching your development and professional development. It can most definitely add to that resume.
I think that point about it not having to be formal is so like just personal, because a lot of the time, I mean, I definitely felt this where I'm like, oh, I have this, but it's not official, or it's not accredited, so let me not. But it's like all you're showing is just that your commitment to the job or the role or the industry, and that you're just excited about it and you're going out of your way to get. Some people even do voluntary experience. How many friends I have in the healthcare sector who, obviously, given how tight it is to get work experience, say if you want to go down the psychology route, you need some form of solid work experience. So many of them just volunteer.
Not being paid.
Yeah.
Not being paid.
Free of charge. And that's how they bulk up their CV to then go on to do whatever it is they want to do. So again, do not discount that if that's generally.
Never discount that. Any work that you do, anything that you do to enrich yourself should be noted down. And I think also be on top of what Babe said as well, you need to also know that you're not limiting yourself or putting yourself down. If anything, you're making yourself more marketable, and you're also showing the team, the future team that you could be working with, that you are generally a multifaceted person.
Yeah.
you're able to adapt to multiple different things. You're open to change. And no company right now is looking for an individual that has done one thing and one thing only for the last 3 years, 2 years, however long the case may be. So whatever you do have, do pop it on there. Be wary of, obviously, there might be certain jobs out there that may not be for you. Do your research. Don't just take anything and everything, because yes, it's September surge, but it also means that it's not the season for you to just settle.
And I think we sort of focused quite a bit on what the candidate should do to ensure that they get a role. But I think it's also worth even just touching on how to ensure that they're going into a role that will have some longevity to it. Because let's look at what's happened in tech during the height of COVID, where they were hiring like any Tom, Dick and Harry. Baby, you get a job, you get a job, and you get a job, and you get a job, and you get a job. Fast forward, is it 2 years now post-COVID? And they realized, oh wait, we are oversubscribed. We need to get rid of some people. And then there's been massive layoffs. So in as much as we are saying, make sure that you are best placed to be picked by the company, it's also worth you making sure that you're doing your due diligence to pick the right company, because you don't want to invest all this time. All this is actually time. It's time, it's effort. It's a fine job when you really...
It's a job in itself to find a job. It's a job in itself to find a job.
I'm going to do all this for a company that will turn around when everything's like, when, things have hit the fan and they're like, actually, we don't need you no more.
You don't need you no more. And first of all, we hate to say it, but it happens. But you're dispensable.
Oh, yeah, it's a given.
You leave one day, you're replaced the next. Like, no question. It is what it is. So definitely take advantage of the September surge. Think about it as a way for you to upskill yourself where you can, for you to find a job or team, if you want to think about it that way, that you can really connect with. Remember that it's not just one size fits all. There are many different avenues that you can take to get an entry-level job during September surge: apprenticeships, grad schemes, grad jobs, volunteering, like the whole works. There are avenues, networking, speaking to someone. They might have a space for you as well. Don't be shy with it. I think it's just preparation, really.
And just putting your best foot forward.
Putting your best foot forward. And I'm not going to lie, don't take anything, but also at the same time, don't limit yourself.
No, that's right about it. It's quite funny.
You do.
You don't want to be your either end of the extreme. But I think overall, I probably would say it's prime time. Yes,
prime time, baby.
The economy isn't looking the best. And yes, there are extenuating circumstances. But just fundamentally, if there was a time within the year, and that's not to say there aren't other times in the year that you can apply.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bonus season.
Broski, April.
If for whatever reason September does not go the way you want it to,
April.
Try and believe that bonus season. So most companies pay bonuses around March,
April.
And so what tends to happen is people that weren't happy with their bonus, or they thought they were going to get a promotion, didn't quite get it, or just like generally not satisfied.
Or there's another role and another scenario, or they just waited to get their bonus so they're going to get cut.
And people do that. They get what they need to get and they say on to the next. And what that then means is that, especially for like entry level roles, you sort of have a gap that needs to be filled. So I know we are saying September surge because that's what's currently topical, but that's not to say that this is you. And don't feel as though if it doesn't go the way you plan, that is it for the rest of the year. Like, there is definitely scope to get a role in other parts, in other sort of periods of the year as well.
100%, 1000%. And you know what? I think we'll tie up really prettily there and leave it right there. Little bow for y'all. Hand it to you. And offer you this reality check. Whether or not you choose to do anything with it is completely up to you. If you did enjoy this episode at all, feel free to give us a like, give us a 5-star review on Apple Music or Apple Podcast and Spotify. Do share it if you do think there is someone else that you believe could benefit from this as well. And we look forward to interacting with you on TikTok, on YouTube, Instagram. I think that's all we've got at the moment. More soon come, defo, in the works. I know you spilt it, but anyway, at the Tune Podcast or at the Tune Pod, you will find us. And we want to thank you so much for staying here to the end. Much love. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.